Damien. Speaking of Damien,
Mhm.
what's your thoughts on the love interest Damien? Basically your competitor in this whole situation.
Oh, he's a smooth talker, and he's got his own form of charm, but or he could do better.
You think because they don't actually Ethan and Damien don't really interact much. There's not really a rivalry going on.
Yeah.
Do you think there should have been one?
I think it could be interesting to see how that goes. I think one thing that could definitely happen in any level of expansion of the game is having more of that crossover. I think having some sort of capability, kind of like ping pong between Damien and Ethan routes as things go on, that could be very interesting. Where Ari gets to be a little more conflicted about those two main love interests. So I think a bit of rivalry could be very good fun.
Do you think, as it is now, do you think it works better, or it's a negative impact for the game where you don't see them fighting at all? Because I was trying to avoid the stereotype of like two guys fighting for her attention instead of like
Right.
yeah. So
yeah, I think in that sense, like, it works 100% perfectly fine for this kind of game. I'll personally say I'm not like a massive romance game or visual novel game consumer, but I mean, sure, some will work out if you have a little bit of that back and forth, but some games you make a choice and that's that, and you just move on, and that's part of what the replayability of a game is. Like, that's what different routes do, that you get to go down one route, explore that as much as you want, and then you can take the game and go a completely different direction. And it's kind of a strength that there's an entirely separate story that exists for the Damien and the Ethan routes, based off of what you want to do, and that's replayability right there.
speaking of a different story, your story is over 100 pages.
Yeah.
How did that feel, knowing that even though you're technically supposed to be second lead, you got so much attention towards your character?
I got two thoughts for it. One, bless Arya's actor for having like both of those scripts and just being like, all right, cool, yeah, banging all that out, plus whatever like side stories there were. It's a lot on her too, like, goodness. But for me personally, I know as I was waiting for the go-ahead, the green light to actually start recording, I kept going, looking at the script and reading some things, and essentially like booth testing some lines in there. But I just watched that page count grow and grow and grow, and I was like, okay, all right, it's kind of funny. Okay, stop. No, wait, hold on, wait. Why is it 80 pages? Why is it 90 pages? Why is it 100 pages? And yeah, that was an experience. Then you're like, okay, go ahead. I'm just like,
No, because
it was a lot to look forward to.
we're like, surely he's only gonna get like maybe 50 pages, because if Damien got like 75 or something, like, ain't no way this person's gonna write a whole autobiography about Ethan Nakamura. And the person's just like, and so here's the whole backstory between Ethan and Silver.
Yep. They're just like, ha, watch me.
And we're like, bro, we're like, what part are you? It's like, I'm only halfway done. We're like, we still need the other half.
Yeah. There was a certain point there where I realized that the voice acting wasn't going to be ready for the initial game jam, and I was like, initially I thought, oh, maybe we're just going to have like a little bit of story that'll get expanded on, but we'll have like the voice acting in place for the game jam, and that'll be cool. But then like that didn't happen. I know Mr. Kumar was really flustered by trying to break up all of the voice lines into their component parts after the fact, and I'm sure that was an absolutely arduous task. But I know initially he was like, he wanted to have all the lines done and then break them out on the Excel sheets, label them with the specific file names that they're supposed to be to make it super easy to just plug and play. And boy, did that not happen. I was like looking at that thing. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that should be easy. We should be able to, get these done, and that'll make it super easy for him and anybody who's plugging this in. And boy,
that didn't work for multiple reasons. Somehow, every time someone else kept getting a different script instead of using the final documents tabs, I was just like, "There's a final documents tab," and they kept using like an old draft. I'm like, "Who? Wow!" I was just like updated draft or something, and then Kumar wanted to use the whole Excel thing you were trying to explain. No one wanted to use that either. So then oh my goodness, the audio mixing part was the worst part of it, because he was trying to explain the concept to me, and I'm just like, wait, so that's not something you guys do as programmers? So yeah, I'm here thinking all you had to do is program it in there. He's like, that's not a programming thing. I was like, what do you mean that's not a programming thing? And so I'm trying to get like programmers to do this, and they're like, that's not what you do as a programmer. So we need audio mixers for that. And, yeah. And you're like, oh, I'm so sad this is not gonna be in like the release. I'm like, I wish it was, but it's so hard to do. It's like it took forever. And then he's like, and I kept asking him, how long is it gonna take to do it? And he's like, I could do it. I could do this in Ethan's route in 3 weeks. BS. I was just like, so double the time, so 6 weeks. And then I was like, what about all routes? I was just like, okay, so you need basically a whole year essentially, because I was just like, you're telling me one thing, but how long did it take you to do Damien's route? Because then he did Damien's route, and then he's like, I messed up the whole code. I was like, are you serious? And I was just like, we need help. I was just like, we need help, and it was just a frustrating mess. I was just like, I would love to like fix the voices and all that, because I replayed through the game, and the game is actually really fun to like hear the voice acting and stuff, but all the voice audios are in different volume.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's like gonna be real hard to like mix. And I am no like mixer, no audio engineer, but man, like even working with like seeing some people's audio, like in various projects I've seen, like just the absolute stress ball that it is trying to work with a bunch of different hold up
the
dogs. Oh, somebody just got home, so I'm gonna mute real quick, go close my door, and then I'm coming right back. One sec.
Headcanon. Ethan has 2 dogs. One is named Sparky Boom Boom. The other one is named Toaster Strudel the 4th, and they are one a Shih Tzu and a Dachshund. And the Dachshund is the protector, while the Shih Tzu is the one who is a service dog. Oh, did you hear all that?
Intriguing. Oh yeah. See, that's the fun part. Wireless headphones.
Imagine that's just like now a canon event. It's just like,
I mean, hey, it's your character. If that's the head canon, that's probably canon.
It's just like he has 2 dogs now. Toaster Strudel and Sparky Boom Boom.
Now the question is, which flavor of Toaster Strudel?
Strawberry.
Strawberry? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Strawberry, blueberry. Honestly, blueberry probably makes sense for his jacket.
That is true. I know I was always the bigger fan of the like the cinnamon sugar or whatever's like the cinnamon roll toaster strudel. That was fire.
Ooh,
I haven't had that in a long time, to be honest.
Cinnamon toaster strudel the 4th. That's such a silly thing to even think about. He just gets 2 dogs. The cinnamon, the service dog, toaster strudel to the floor. Oh my goodness. But
yeah, what was the question I was answering beforehand? That train
the,
of thought was
the audio mixing.
Right, audio mixing. Like, yeah, I'm no mixer. I've seen people work with that. It's hard. People have different mics. They have different qualities to them. There's all sorts of things to go in with, and there's no one mixing solution that's going to work for everybody's voice. And I mean, there's going to be it's a complex process, and just props to audio engineers for being able to do what they do. It's hard.
Yeah. So I don't know how I can fix that in the future if I ever want to add voice acting in the game, because I feel like a lot of people want these characters expanded, but I don't know how we're gonna be able to, because I really love the voice acting part. It's just adding it to the game is the worst part.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. I feel like, I mean, I don't know how this works, and I am talking out of my ass, but maybe this has like merit. It's got to be one of those things where the audio engineer needs to be like brought in at the beginning, and there's got to be some level of like sample from everybody to be like, okay, so what is your audio going to sound like, and let them get a good like mix running to see how that all balances out, and then run that by you, the director, to be like, okay, so this is how things sound balanced out with such and such editing techniques for all these different people. Does that work? And then you can like fine tune it a little bit until you find something that works, and then the engineer should be able to kind of make that work for everybody along the way. And I don't know if you'd be able to blanket apply that to everybody's audio, or the individual audios, but it might help to at least have them along the beginning, have the samples, and could help quicken the process, I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. With this game, do you think it's quality enough to be put on Steam, or do you think there's stuff we should fix first before even considering putting it on? Or like remake it first before even considering putting it?
That is a tricky question. I think it has the right qualities to go up and be out there, but I mean, to be as harsh a critic as I can, there's probably some elements that could be polished before it is up there, to make sure that it actually like really thrives and people don't write it off if they see something they're not the most happy with at the outset. I don't know if that's going to be just like another pass at the audio, or if that's going to be any changes in terms of art, or the script, or anything like that. Like I couldn't say myself what it may or may not need, but I think it's at that level where it's ready to be there, but there's always room to improve it to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, like it's like this is still the beta stage, even though it could quote unquote be complete, but even though people would like it on Steam, it's like it's probably better to like enhance it still, because like
right.
This was still essentially rushed because this was for a jam. So like whether or not this was like this would be like a free or a paid game in the future, like we would have to consider like, is this the thing we want to post out if we would want to put it on Steam?
Right.
Yeah, no, because I always had that thought in my head. I'm like, first of all, it's $100 to post something on Steam. I'm like, I like the game, but I'm like, I don't want to spend another like $100 on this. Like, that's a lot of money on this. I'm like, I like all that we did towards it. I'm like, I like that it's on Twitch and stuff. I wish there was more attraction to it, like, and I do like to try to market it, but like I have no marketing skills. I'm unfortunately like none of these characters in all marketing majors and stuff like that. I never got their skills, unfortunately. But like put it on Steam is just like I was just like, there's so much potential in the game, but it's just not out there because of all the inconsistencies there is in the game. Yeah. But like, what's your thoughts on the story? Because I took a more realistic approach instead of a more cliche approach.
I feel like realistic is a good word for it, because there's a lot of just real conversation, it feels like, that happens between these characters. It's not something that makes its story go based off of a bunch of miscommunications like some romance games can be fraught with. It's, you know, a lot of it is very much based in, you know, real issues people have, ways communication do happen between like rational adults, and that's something that can definitely be lacking in a lot of games. You might get frustrated at times, be like, come on, if you just say the words, it's gonna work out. But with this, I didn't really experience a whole lot of issue with things going unsaid and causing a lot of hurt and pain that way. That is nice. That's refreshing. I mean, there are obviously elements to stuff like Damien's story, without getting into spoilies, that he definitely wanted to keep secret, and for good reason. But it didn't feel like it was just a classic, oh, you read a innocent text from one of these characters talking with their sister, and then Arya got upset that it was them talking with another girl, and oh, this terrible, terrible thing happened. No, it was just, you know, people. And it was a study of, you know, as it was intended, a study of, you know, the psychology of how people, you know, work into relationships, and, you know, the different factors that are described at the beginning of the game.
I mean, I think that's why the whole psychology thing really works, is because since we used the whole psychology aspect of it, it had to be a more realistic approach to the game instead of a more fantasy, like, even though there is quite supernatural elements to it at times, it's like you have to have real you have to have real conversations. Well, we'll talk about the supernatural elements later, but it's just like I think that's why it's like love and psychology is really like the selling point of it. Is just like, it's not like oh my goodness, I saw you talk to another girl, that means he's not available. It's just like actually talk it out.
Yeah, it's not a game that relies on what's the word I'm thinking of? It's the like petty, vain. It's not about like the vainer aspects of, you know, relationships. It's better.
Just the word, it's better. How to describe
Yep.
How to describe a game? It's better. Better than what? Just better.